A warm welcome to you and thank you very much for joining us on the program. We start off in Guinea, where experts from the West African bloc, ECOWAS, have urged the country's government to expunge some irregular entries from its electoral roll due to a lack of proper identification. This is according to a document seen by AFP on Wednesday. The experts are in Guinea in part to clean up the electoral register after international criticism of it pushed President Alpha Conde to postpone a contested referendum on changing the constitution last month. There have been calls from the country's opposition for 81-year-old President Conde to step down, and those calls have now been renewed following yet another postponement to this legislative and constitutional referendum. Bridget.
Indeed, Jerry, a new date for the holding of these polls is now suspended pending the completion of work of the ECOWAS experts in charge of examining the electoral lists. And this is one of the grounds for the challenge. The International Organization of the Francophonie, which is monitoring the electoral process in Guinea, had already deemed it problematic because nearly 2.5 million voter names on the lists are duplicates, and there's also the presence of deceased persons. Since mid-October, Guinea has been in the grip of protests against a plan to amend the constitution and to allow President Conde to run for a third term at the end of 2020. At least 31 civilians and a police officer had been killed to date.
With us now is Guinean journalist and political analyst Mohamed Mara. Mohamed, good morning to you and thank you for joining us. So here we have yet another postponement of the referendum. No more March 15 date, and we have no new dates in fact. So what do you make of this?
This
new postponement, if you like, comes at a time when the holding of this double legislative and referendum ballot in the Republic of Guinea is still unfavorable. Remember that this Thursday, the ECOWAS Court of Justice will receive 2 lawyers from the Guinean government, plus other lawyers from all the 15 ECOWAS member countries for a hearing on whether or not it's advisable to hold this double ballot on the 15th.
Mais aussi des avocats de l'ensemble des 15 pays membres de la CEDEAO se feront entendre devant les juges.
It should be remembered also that on Wednesday, ECOWAS, through its commission, sent an official letter to the government of the Republic of Guinea in which it raises the main grievances already dealt with on the 2018 Technical Commission, which had audited the file. So this double context is very difficult for the Electoral Commission to organize a double election.
C'est très compliqué aujourd'hui pour la CENI d'organiser ce double référendum.
So what do you foresee in the next days in relation to this election deadline? In my opinion, we are still a long way from holding this double election. What is clearly emerging today, in my view, is a postponement sine die, because as things stand, the electoral register has over 2.4 million voters whose physical existence cannot be proven. This was already a strong recommendation by the International Organization of the Francophonie in December 2018. Secondly, we should also already think about removing the duplicates, except that as I speak, the voter cards have already been distributed. That means that there's already work to be done on this level as well. So we'll have to review the case already and then reprint new voter cards. And all this cannot happen in a rush. But on the other hand, we must not forget that there are community provisions notable in the 2001 Additional Protocol of ECOWAS, amended in 2012, which stipulates in Article 2 that legal instruments with regard to elections of ECOWAS member states cannot be touched 6 months before major elections are held. In reality, today we're in a kind of race against time, since in almost 1 month, a month and a half at most, the Guinean state will no longer be able to hold this referendum.
Mohamed, if all that you've said were to come true, what scenario do you foresee for Guinea?
In this scenario, there are two possibilities. A shift in different electoral calendars, which could therefore see President Alpha Conde remain in power beyond 2020. Which is extremely difficult for the Guinean opposition to conceive, in my view. Then, on the other hand, we also have seen, as we have seen in other African countries, which unfortunately is a scenario of chaos, which could therefore lead to the president to issue orders based on the constitutional provision which state that the presidential or national elections cannot be organized during a period of unrest in the country. However, at this level as well, there is need to remember and to clarify that the Malian case is a case of jurisprudence in this matter. This is because almost 2/3 of the Malian territory was occupied by jihadists, but they still elected their president.